Hello everyone, I'm Chris Malley, and I'm here today to work with you on Yoko Geri, side kick, one of the three basic kicks of karate. A couple important notes to keep in mind. There's really two different styles of side kick. There's a snapping style where the lower portion of the leg snaps out from the chambered position, kind of in a swinging position. Or there's a snap and thrust style of side kick where the lower half of the leg still extends out from the upper part of the leg with some snap, but the hip applies thrust into the kick, almost like a stomping motion if I were to do it directly on the ground. The next thing to keep in mind is the shape of the foot. We never want to kick with the toes, so we don't want to be extending those toes out there when we're executing our side kicks. Okay? We either want to strike with the outside knife edge, using this part here. I'm going to share some images up on the screen for you. Okay, striking with that outer edge of the foot. So we got to bend that ankle down, or we're going to use the heel. Okay. So, getting to working on our Yoko Geris. Let's do a few exercises here to help you get ready. Obviously, we always want to loosen up those toes, get them bent up and down so that we can quickly get them out of the way. Okay. The next thing is to do some sideways rotations of that ankle, especially if you're going to be using that knife edge tech style. Okay, so I like to roll it out. Okay, not putting a lot of weight on it. Roll it back, come in, out, back, and then we do the other side. Roll it out and back, out and back, roll it out and back. Next are the knee lifts. Okay, we'll start out here with our hands at the belt level. Okay, just to get warmed up. Alternating legs on each count. Then we'll move them up, working on getting those knees as high as we can. All right. Okay. Next, since our hips are really involved in executing a good, powerful side kick, we need to have some good range of motion in those hips. So we're going to take that knee lift and use a stepping over motion, going from the inside to the outside. Okay. And the other leg, inside to the outside. Okay. And then outside to the inside. Okay. To help facilitate this exercise, you could put an object on the ground, maybe a bucket, maybe a stool, or even something taller. Okay. But you want to get those hips to open up and close. Similar to what we did last time with our Maya-Geris, we're going to use a step over exercise. This also feeds into the knee lift exercise. We can start off here, this time with our side facing the obstacle we're stepping over. But we want to get that knee up and over, come down into our horse stance, our kibarachi, and back. And of course, we're equal opportunity, so we got to work both sides. All right. Now, the next thing we want to work on, and we might want to use a stool, a chair, a wall, whatever, something behind us, but we're going to make our stance a little bit wider, closer to our horse stance. In this case, I've got the wall behind me. I can use that. I want to get that leg up here as high as I can. All right. I don't want to leave my leg laying way down here. All right. But I want to get that foot up, start heading toward its ultimate target, so I can extend it, work my extensions over that. Next, I want to work on my stepping motion that I'm going to use to execute my Yoko Geri. All right. And we can execute Yoko Geri from either horse stance, kibarachi, or forward stance, zankuzudachi. So we'll start with horse stance. Okay. We want to work on our step behind. And like I said, we need to move those hips. So we want to stay low, and when we step behind with that back foot, stepping behind the front foot, we want to step as far as we can. And to help facilitate that, we need to turn our hips and our shoulders. We want to try to keep looking at our target as best we can. Okay, we don't want to take the eyes off the target, but we want the hips and shoulders to turn. But we have to stay low in order to do that. So one of the best ways I've learned to help facilitate that, get used to that idea of turning those hips, is to point your butt where you're going to kick. So when I step behind, see how I stayed low? I turn my hips and my shoulders, and I can still see where I'm going and come back. Okay? There's our step. Practice that. And obviously we do it both sides. Turn the hips, point the butt. Hips and shoulders, point the butt. Okay? Next, utilizing that same exercise, we're going to do that same step behind. We've got the body twisted and step out into our horse stance. And we'll do the same thing going the other way. Step behind and step out. We're going to get used to that motion when we're using our horse stance. Okay? Now, if we're going to be using our kick or executing our kick from a forward stance, Zankuzudachi, that's a little bit different. So the exercise I have for that ties into some of the knee lifts and the other exercises we were doing. In order to do this from the Zankuzudachi, as we pick up that kicking foot, we need to rotate on that plant foot, on the ball of that foot. Okay? So the exercise here is to lift and turn and step down and back. Lift and turn and step down. Okay? Both sides. Lift and turn, step down. Lift and turn, step down. Okay? Then we can do some of those same exercises by utilizing our elastic bands here. And I don't think we need to go into that, but I can strap that on my ankle, work on my knee lifts, work on those hip rotations. Okay? Continue working on those knee lifts. All right, picking that knee up. When we use the elastic band, especially from this position here, all right, when I pick up this leg, all right, the elastic band is going to want to pull it back. That's going to help facilitating the twisting of the hips. Okay, so that when we execute this from horse stance, and we step behind, as we pick up this leg to execute our kick, we don't want our knee coming out toward our target. We want our knee to come up right in front of our stomach, all right? Right in the middle of our chest, like we would for our other kicks, okay? Right here, boom, right up here, ready to go. All right, I'll show you from this direction. I don't want, when I pick up that leg, to pick up my knee going toward it, but I want to pick up my leg and bring it up here to my chambered position. Okay? All right. So I've already touched on doing this from horse stance and the forward stance. I touched on doing the hip rotation. Okay? Now, as we execute the kick, the extension of the kick, the next thing is that more than likely our upper body is going to be falling forward or backwards away from where we're kicking. So one of the things we need to do here is to, as that body's going forward, we want to arch our shoulders because we want to continue looking over that shoulder as we execute the kick. We don't want to be bent over this way. All right? This way here. Hopefully you can see my back is arched and I'm looking over the shoulder. All right? So now, the full execution of the kick. Now, the full execution of the kick. We're going to step behind, as I said before, turning hips and shoulders, chambering the leg. Now, as our body goes toward the back, we're going to extend the leg out and come back from horse stance. Notice that as I'm executing that kick, I'm untwisting my upper body. Coming back. All right. So the rechambering the leg is important. Just like a front snap kick, that leg snaps out there, the hip puts the thrust in it, it snaps back. All right, which helps apply the devastating power that can be in one of these kicks. Stay low, step behind, turn the hips and shoulders, chamber the leg in front of your chest, extend it out, rechamber it, and come back. Okay? The other thing you want to try to avoid is that as you're extending your kick out, is not to throw that trailing arm out here. You might have a tendency to want to do that for balance. Okay? You want to keep your guards in for a couple of reasons. One, protect yourself. Okay? Two, that when we throw that back hand away as we execute the kick, we're throwing power away. Okay? We want to transfer all of our body weight into our power as we thrust through the kick. You can practice those kicks on the makiwara boards. Okay? And as well as other targets. And just like any other kick, you're not just trying to get to the target. You're trying to go through the target. Hopefully this video has been helpful. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Us.